Acura made a huge splash a few months ago when they finally announced the replacement for the TLX. It's also called the TLX, but this is the all-new 2021 TLX, and with this new model, Acura has made some huge claims about its latest sports sedan. But is it any good? Well, we're out here in Malibu, California today to find out. They say the new TLX can take on the 3 and the BMW 5 Series, as well as the Audi A4 and A6 and the Mercedes C and E-Class all together. Those are totally huge claims. Hi, my name is Jake Stump. You're watching Drive, Brake, Fix, Repeat, and today we're taking on the 2021 Acura TLX. I gotta be honest with you, when I first saw the Acura press images of the new TLX, I wasn't entirely sold. But in person, this thing is striking. You totally see hints of Alfa Romeo Giulia in it and a bit of Q60 and Q50, especially in the rear three-quarter view. I mean, just check out the hips on this car. In person, this thing is gorgeous. Also helps with this particular TLX is the A-SPEC package, so it's the appearance package. The gloss, gunmetal wheels, the blacked out trim, the spoiler, the tinted taillights, it all just works. And don't for a second think this is just some superficial mommy makeover, because it's not. Under the skin, this all-new chassis now features double wishbone suspension up front and a multi-link independent rear suspension out back. For the hardcore Honda Acura nerds out there, that is a hallmark trait associated with the older models that unfortunately in years past disappeared due to cost-cutting measures. But it's back with this new TLX. And for the people who aren't suspension nerds out there like me, the inclusion of double wishbone front suspension means on paper, this thing should have a ton of mechanical grip and be very friendly to drive in the corners. But it's more than that. Because by Acura's own admission, returning to the double wishbone suspension, while it is more costly for them to do, has so many more benefits to the end consumer. First up, the double wishbone front suspension means the hood line is now ½ an inch lower. And additionally, double wishbone suspension dynamically just does a better job at controlling body movements and the feeling of broken up bad pavement. So when you hit the patchy stuff, this new TLX should do a better job of handling it. And speaking of handling, honestly, count me surprised. This is not the high performance Type S model that people were freaking out about. This is just a regular TLX with the A-SPEC appearance package, but it drives really nicely. Acura has made a huge deal about tuning the feel of the electric power steering and the feel of the brake pedal on this car. And there's a lot of technical graphs and data alluding to the fact that they looked at the tuning they used in the NSX supercar and put it right into this. And the end result is a car that just drives great. It also sounds pretty good too, which is kind of surprising because under the hood is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. That's a K20C engine that you'd find in a lot of Honda products as of late. You know, the Civic Type R, the Accord 2.0T. That engine is basically this engine. It's a derivative tuned by Acura for their specific feel. And in the TLX, it produces 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. And it sounds and feels really nice. The power delivery has been tuned to be this nice linear sensation, but with a nice hit of torque down low because it's turbocharged. Like this. Yeah, that's certainly not slow. It also helps that this thing is paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, an Acura exclusive. Acura claims they benchmarked the BMW 330 and 530i, the Audi A4 and A6, and the Mercedes C and E-Class. And you may be wondering why. And that's because the appearance of TLX, so the long, wide, and low aesthetic, isn't just a visual trick. They made this thing much larger than the outgoing TLX, so it does effectively slot in the middle of all those cars. It's basically the same length as a BMW 5 Series, but it's lower down to the ground than even a BMW 3 Series. And so all of that really contributes to this really planted road feel. And amusingly enough, the only thing slowing me down in this winding canyon road are the standard tires on this car. Now, a summer tire will be available, but these are just the plain Jane all-season tires, and you can hear them howling in protest, which is a good sign, because when the weakest link of your car on a surface level is the tires, that's an easy upgrade. Indeed, I would say fluidity is a word that comes to mind when driving this thing. Even in the sportiest driving mode, which I'm in now, the steering feel is light and smooth, and it just feels like a car that drives smaller than it is. Of course, there are a few flaws to be found with the new TLX. And as far as I see it, there are two notable things happening here you might want to take into consideration. The first up is that 10-speed automatic transmission, which, while up here in the canyon roads, once you're kind of moving, feels pretty good. You know, it's pretty on its toes. But around town and at lower speeds, it can feel a bit lazy and dim-witted, which is a bit disappointing. The other thing, which is kind of almost an Acura tradition at this point, is the fuel economy, which is not great. This all-wheel drive TLX is rated by the EPA at 21 mpg city, 29 mpg freeway, and just 24 mpg combined, which is worse than literally all of its rivals in competition. Yikes. Now, unfortunately, as is the way with all these first drive events, I don't have a ton of time to spend with the TLX. I only have about an hour and a half with this car all in, which is not a huge amount of time. But my first impressions overall are very positive. I do like that in this interior, they've simplified things from previous Acura models, which had an issue with just being too button heavy. There were just too many things happening in here. They've simplified it. I like the infotainment display. It's a 10-inch unit, a derivative of what's found in the RDX, but with next generation software and better tactile feel. The 10-inch screen, which is not a true touch screen, is controlled by the knobs and the trackpad down here. I actually like this system. It took me a few seconds to get used to, but within a few minutes, I'm already very comfortable with it, which is definitely a good thing. You know, competitors at Lexus, for example, would definitely struggle in that regard. And of course, being a premium car, the Acura TLX has plenty of goodies in here. This $46,000 A-SPEC trim, in addition to the cool exterior, has red and black leather inside, heated and ventilated seats, wireless charging, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, among other goodies. This new TLX A-SPEC is a truly competitive offering from Acura, which is great to see. Now, all that's left for me to say is to bring on the Type S. Of course, with the TLX being so new, there's just so much to cover, so I encourage you to check out my review on drivebrakefixrepeat.com and the link in the description down below. As always, guys, my name is Jake Stump. You've been watching Drive, Brake, Fix, Repeat, and I'll see you guys next time. We're going to do more fun things with cars. Bye.